Welcome to Biblical Christian Content, where we like to keep the content biblical. Let's go.
The desperate rush to sign this flawed nuclear agreement with Iran is not only absurd, it's downright dangerous.
I have to petition everyone that's watching this video. If you desire to help me reach more people with biblical truth, then do me a favor. At minimum, hit the like and hit the subscribe to generate more push to get biblical Christian content to more hearts, more minds, and more souls. Thank you. Enjoy the video.
All right, welcome back, Biblical Christian Content. I normally don't do this. I don't really post on political things. But one thing I don't subscribe to personally, this is just my personal eschatological view. I'm actually already planned to do kind of like a response or reply video to Doug Wilson. Doug Wilson, if any of you know him, I think he's a great guy. He's a guy's guy, solid, godly man. But he holds to the post-mill position as far as end times. I do not, for many reasons, like the Bible. And, there's always going to be back and forth, and I have a respect for Doug Wilson and others that hold to the post-mill position. And I'm not saying that I believe what I believe because of everything that's going on right now, but this clip right here is the Prime Minister of Israel. And if you don't know, you should actually look it up. If you go on like an Instagram and just hashtag Iraq and go to recent, you'll see that yesterday, which was like Saturday, March 13th, or Sunday, March 13th, because of the time difference over in the Middle East. They're blaming Iran, and supposedly maybe even Iran took responsibility for it. But long story short, Iran shot half a dozen to a dozen ballistic missiles at a U.S. embassy in Iraq. And, it's nothing new over there in the Middle East. There's constant war, constant tension between Iran, Saudi Arabia, Israel, Iran and Iraq. Iraq is, obviously like a little puppet child for for the USA, since we went in there years ago and kind of took it over. We've I'm sure stuck our flagpole in there in a sense. And so basically it's just, I wanted to read Matthew 24, which says that for nation will rise. Matthew 24, starting at verse 7. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and earthquakes in various places, and these are but the beginning of the birth pains. And, we are definitely not to look at what's going on in society and form a biblical or end times kind of prophetic or end times view based on the current events. You really shouldn't do that. But at the same time, that's why I specifically named post-mill. Post-mill holds to the thought that over time, that when the gospel is preached throughout the world, that a majority of people will be Christian. They hold to the belief that when Christ returns, it will be a basically Christianized from people, regular population, leaders, and those in charge, and nations will basically be governed by biblical principles, which is, I find, so hard to believe. The world is trending in the opposite direction, in my opinion. But listen, I'm gonna make another video in response to something that Doug Wilson put out, and let's just listen to Benjamin Netanyahu. He's given a speech, and it's I think it's pretty important. But he's basically saying the U.S. has structured a deal that under Obama years ago. When Trump came into office, I believe Trump pulled that deal. Now, in the middle, you'll hear it from the horse's mouth. Benjamin Netanyahu says, and Israel is Iran's number one enemy. The Prime Minister of Israel right here is going to state that this will basically arm Iran with nuclear capabilities. If they were working on it before, now they're going to be working on it to where they can likely legally become a nuclear power, and which is very dangerous for the Middle East, especially Israel. So I'm not trying to say look at all the headlines and form some opinion, but what I am saying is this particular video is so short, but it caught my attention, and I wanted to upload it and edit it and upload it and put it together for everyone else to watch. And I hope you enjoy. Things are definitely ratcheting up. We just went through this whole thing with the lockdowns and all of that nonsense. Now we're transitioning into inflation, food shortages, gasoline wars now with the United States and Russia. And now Iran shoots missiles at a U.S. embassy in Iraq yesterday, March 13th. And yet and still, in the middle of the USA trying to broker a deal with Iran, Iran shoots missiles at a USA building. I think that shows you the direction things are going. And again, I'm not making a prophecy. I don't like these people that go on YouTube and do that. I'm just saying I'm posting this for informative purposes regarding the Middle East, Iran, nations rising against nations, and of course being one of the main nations in the Bible and locations in the Bible, Israel. So, like, share, comment, subscribe. God bless you all. Stay tuned. More biblical Christian content.
The desperate rush to sign this flawed nuclear agreement with Iran is not only absurd, it's downright dangerous. Yesterday, Iran fired missiles in the vicinity of the American consulate in Iraq. And the U.S. continues to charge ahead, along with the other powers, to sign a nuclear agreement that will give the Ayatollahs a nuclear arsenal. It would also relieve sanctions and give them hundreds of billions of dollars in order to continue the terror that they waged yesterday and wage every day throughout the Middle East and the world. This agreement is even worse than its predecessor, because in 3 years' time, under this agreement, Iran will be a threshold nuclear state. It will have enough enriched uranium to create dozens and dozens of nuclear bombs, and it will have the ICBMs to deliver them to any place in the United States. That is unbelievable. It's not merely unacceptable. It endangers not only my country, Israel, but your country, the United States, and the entire world. We should not let an aggressive, rogue, terrorist regime like Iran have nuclear weapons. Have we learned nothing?